Hey everyone, I'm your host Luke Narwhal, and welcome back to the new weight loss series where I read your weight loss stories right here on YouTube. If you have a weight loss story you'd like to share, it can be about anything, just put it in the comments below, and if I missed yours, feel free to copy and paste it into the comment section below. Our first story here is from Jade, and here is Jade's story. I can't remember a time when I wasn't fat. It goes back to like 6-year-old me. I always wonder how it is to be skinny. Do skinny people have insecurities? Do they look at us bigger people and see a big mountain of fat, or do they look further? I decided 5 to 6 months ago that I needed to change. I'm a 5'2", 16-year-old female, and I used to weigh 195 pounds. At that time, I couldn't even imagine that weight loss was possible. I believed I was fat and that I was going to be like that forever. Whenever I told my friend that I thought I was fat, they responded that I was not. I know it was to protect me, but honestly, I would have preferred if they told me I was fat right away. Nothing is more motivating than that for me. I don't know when the real I need to lose weight moment came up to me, but I eventually started to lose weight as I was eating better. I cut out all sugary drinks from my diet and cut out all chips, cookies, cakes. I also started to take walks every day, and eventually results came. At first, I lost like 15 pounds in a few weeks and no one noticed. Then school ended and I kept going on my journey. I lost 25 pounds over the summer, and when I came back to school, a lot of people came to me and told me just how much I had changed and asked me how I did it. I just told them that there is no secret, and all you have to do is check what you eat and move a little more. So now I keep going, and I've lost 42 pounds. I hope I can lose 40 more to weigh 113 pounds, which would be healthy for my weight. I just want to tell anyone who may be reading this, don't give up, and be proud of every step you take. Results take time. Be patient and you'll be rewarded. Thank you for that story, Jade. That's a very motivating story to never give up. That's a constant theme in a lot of these stories is I know it's tough, but never give up. So thank you so much, Jade, for your story. And that brings us down to our next story here from Mililani Wozniak. And she says, I guess I'm inspired enough to put mine down. Trigger warning, eating disorder tendencies, and calories. It started after 8th grade, when I dropped out of sports and stopped working out as often. I was 5'6" at the time and 155 pounds. I've always been bigger because of my weightlifting passion since I was just 12 years old. I went from 155 pounds to 225 pounds at 5'9" at my freshman year of high school. I had and still have massive body dysmorphia and ended up with a binge purge and restrict cycle when trying to lose weight. I was devastated and exhausted all the time because of toxic eating habits, and the weight just kept slowly falling off. I lost 20 pounds because of this nasty toxic mindset I was in of eating as little as humanly possible. If anyone struggles with this, please talk to someone and get help. It's serious and can affect you for a long time. It still has its mental and physical toll on me sometimes. What finally helped me snap out of it was my boyfriend and my mother having a stroke because of her weight. She was only 20 pounds heavier than I was. I was terrified and remember the next day doing my first HIIT workout and began calorie counting, as seeing numbers rather than feeling those aches of hunger kept me on track and helped me eat enough in all those hard times where I didn't want to eat. I forced myself to trust my body again. I now got back weightlifting, kept my cardio up 4 times a week, and now weigh 185 flat, 5'10", and in my junior year of high school. Food doesn't control my life nearly as much anymore, and I am proud of myself for that. I still have a ways to go, but I'm eating at maintenance right now to ease the stress on my body with school and family turmoil. Thank you for creating this channel. It got me through some hard times recently. And to all those trying out there with their own personal weight loss goals or don't feel happy about your body, please learn to love yourself enough to spoil your body with good, nourishing food and movement. It can be the best medicine sometimes when you are in despair. Everyone is beautiful and deserves the right to love themselves. Thank you for sharing that story, Milani. It's a good advice for someone who thinks they may have an eating disorder is definitely go to a doctor, speak to a professional. But thank you so much for being brave enough to share that story, and I hope things stay good for you. And that brings us to our next story from Megzilla, and she says, hello, 29-year-old female here. I come from a past of disordered eating and addiction, and the toll it's taken on my body is insane. For many years, I abused Adderall to keep my weight down. I barely had an appetite and was super skinny. I'm 5'6", and at my lowest weight was 115 pounds. A few years ago, the stimulant abuse got out of control. I couldn't sleep, couldn't hold down a job, was shaking all the time, and developed paranoid delusions. I decided to quit Adderall, and I'm glad I did. Without the stimulants, my appetite came back with a vengeance. I was eating everything in sight. I also made a huge mistake. I traded one addiction for another and started binge drinking every night. Cocktails with soda, cases of Mike's Hard, microbrew beers. Over the next 5 years, I gained a whopping 100 pounds. I ballooned up to almost twice my lowest weight. I weighed in at 215 in April, and that was the turning point. I have lost 35 pounds so far, and I have 50 left to go. I feel great about the journey. For the first time in my adult life, I feel like I'm making good choices for my body, and I love it. I'm getting help from my addictions and using the Seco method. Seco is amazing. I had the r/lose it community on Reddit to thank for educating me and giving me a community. YouTube channels like this have been super encouraging as well. Narwhals, let's keep working together. We can do this. For starters, apologies for the noise outside. You may hear it on the mic. There's just someone mowing their lawn nearby where I live. But Meg, thank you for sharing this story of yours. I'm glad you're starting to turn around, and I'm glad that it seems like you've got a handle on your addiction now. Addiction is no joke. And once again, if anyone out there is struggling with addiction in relation to their weight or not, definitely see someone who can help you with that, whether it's a doctor or a psychologist or someone that you trust in your family. Don't deal with it alone. But thank you again to Meg for sharing that. And let's head on down to the next story here. And that brings us to our next story from Helen. And Helen says, I have been overweight for as long as I can remember. I always feel guilty about thinking this, but I can't help but blame my parents. They chose to feed me the way they did and chose to never say no to me asking for junk food. And by the time I was old enough to make my own lifestyle choices, it was so hard, like 6 years of on and off losing weight hard. And this is because my parents brought me up with bad habits. I'm 18 now and down 54 pounds since May this year. I'm proud of myself and so are my parents. But every now and then I see some kids in the mall or teens playing sports together and think about how much of that I missed/hated because I was fat. Is it reasonable of me to feel some kind of resentment that my parents just allowed that to happen? For the record, I love my parents and I sort of talked to them about it and they kind of had the reasons. Definitely don't hate them. They did a good job at parenting. It's just something I think about sometimes. Well, for starters, Helen, thank you for sharing that. I'm sure your story that you just told and you've gone through, a lot of people can relate to this. I've heard this from people I know personally in real life that many people have overly permissive parents growing up. And we have a lot of parents out there that are definitely overly permissive on many things, whether it's food or other vices. And that can definitely cause problems for a child and as that child grows up and becomes an adult long term. So I don't think it's unreasonable of you to feel some kind of resentment at all. What I find commendable about your situation is even though you do feel resentment, you still do maintain a relationship with your parents and you still recognize they were maybe better in other areas. So I think that shows maturity on your end to actually recognize that maybe they didn't know they were making the wrong choices and maybe they thought they were doing the best they could, which seems to be the case in some of these cases of parents not doing enough. But thank you for sharing that story. It's a very common story, unfortunately, but congratulations on your weight loss. 54 pounds is no small loss, so congratulations. Our next story is from Blueberries, and they say, for me, I hadn't realized I was actually fat even when I was 199 pounds, possibly even more than that. My body, although obviously overweight, tends to hold all my fat in less obvious areas. I grew up with wide hips and a big chest, but in all the places it counts, I remained relatively small. So although I was fat, I wasn't of the opinion that I actually was. Sounds weird, haha. My friends didn't really help with this either because to them I was thick, and that's all the craze nowadays. Anyway, I hadn't actually looked at myself and my weight until I looked at a photo taken of me and a cute dog and saw that I looked like a big, hull-crushing and innocent creature. It was absolutely hideous, and I think that was the first time I noticed that I had a weight problem. A normal size for someone of my height would be around 158 pounds. I don't know why I hadn't made that connection. I was already aware since long ago that a healthy BMI means a healthy body, but for some reason, I hadn't connected that to my own body. Maybe because I'm pretty indifferent to dating, so I was never trying to look good. Well, I want to look good, but it wasn't a priority. I still don't know how to put on makeup, lol. Truthfully, the moment I started trying to lose weight was pretty anticlimactic. I hadn't experienced any physical issues aside from my typical laziness or lethargy. I just thought, oh, I should probably lose weight. And since then, I've tried to be healthier. Officially, I've lost about 38 pounds, and I'm very close to a healthy weight. Honestly, listening to other people's weight loss journeys help a lot. As for tips, the only thing I can say is even if you mess up and eat a whole feast, it's okay. Try again the next day. If you suffer from issues with overeating, I would try slowly decreasing the amount of food you eat. Abruptly cutting unhealthy food from your diet would only make you feel miserable and less likely to keep on your journey. Don't go for the instant gratification of weight loss because it's pretty much impossible. If you want to lose weight and keep it off, you have to be willing to be healthy for the rest of your life. It's all mental. If you aren't ready to lose weight mentally, you're not going to last long at all. Thank you so much for sharing that story, Blueberries, and that brings us to the end of the video. Like I said at the start, if I didn't get to your story, don't worry, go ahead and copy and paste your story into the comment section of this video, or if you haven't shared your story yet and you'd like to share anything to do with weight loss for the next video, go ahead and put it in the comment section of this video, and I will get to it as soon as I can, but possibly in the next video. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.